Welcome everyone to another Marvel Crisis Protocols unboxing. So today in this twin pack we have Jean Grey and Cassandra Nova. So Jean Grey normally is a force for good, generally working with the X-Men, and has become the Dark Phoenix as well. And Cassandra Nova, well, she is definitely dark. So one of Marvel's darker storylines. And she hasn't been in any of the films yet, but she's definitely been in some of the comics. So, a bit of a dark background for Cassandra Nova, if you don't know who she is. She's basically a copy of Xavier. So she is his darker half. Obviously she's female and he's male, so she is like the negative of him. So she was born at the same time, and she was basically a demon that infected the twin in the same womb as Xavier, and even tried to kill Xavier with his own umbilical cord, resulting in a miscarriage. And it's a bit grim, but the miscarriage was eventually rebuilt by the parasite, the parasitic demon, and became what we see now as Cassandra Nova. So she is bold like Xavier. She has very similar powers to Xavier, but on a twisted level. So she has some like regenerative powers, things like that, some mind control, but no one's ever going to be as strong and pure like Xavier is. So Cassandra Nova is a real piece of work. Horrible demon parasite infests her, bitter, twisted, and evil. So if it wasn't evil before it was stillborn and left to rot, it definitely is now. So Jean Grey, on the other hand, is trying to be good, even when she's a Dark Phoenix. Like, she is in there somewhere, trying to be a good person all the time. And eventually she has a child with Scott Summers, spoiler alert, and makes Cable. So I picked up this box initially because it's another Cabal model, so Cassandra Nova is pretty cool. Has regenerative abilities, so there's a few cards out there that I have that works well with healing factor. I thought she could really help, especially if I've got a list with Deadpool, Sabretooth, Wolverine, stuff like that. And Jean Grey, well, she's going to be the start of my slippery slope into the X-Men, I think, because I have X-Force. Some of the X-Force members are in X-Men. I knew it was going to happen because I really, really liked the X-Men cartoon growing up, and this game reminds me so much of the 90s cartoon that I love so much. And I have picked up a copy of Cyclops and Stormbox as well, so you know it's going to happen. 2 leaders in that box, which is a wicked box, which I'll probably do an unboxing of at some stage. But yeah, I really wanted another member of Cabal, and then accidentally picked up this box, which has Cabal and X-Men. Yeah, gotta collect them all, right? So, we'll get into this box. Stop me waffling for 2 seconds. So the destructions we'll get into first, I guess. Read this first. Okay. So, looks pretty good. Not too fiddly, even though she's on a fancy base. So you've got the 2 like shockwave psychic powery bits crossover attached to the base. So the actual model itself of Jean looks relatively simple. 2 halves of a body, head, shoulders, knees and toes, and then she attaches to this flimsy shockwave psychic emanation, I guess, which I am probably going to snap off the base at some stage. But there's worse models out there. I think Scarlet Witch is rather flimsy and scares me a little bit. And then you have Cassandra Nova, which, me personally, I'm not sure if I like the 8 and 9 section here. Looks like she's standing on some kind of geyser or geyser, sprouting up from the ground. That's supposed to be psychic power, I guess, as well. But it just looks a little bit weird. It looks a little bit like Mary Poppins. So I'm probably going to do away with that piece and get her just on the base itself, just to attach directly onto the base. Because it just looks a little bit weird. And in this game it's great because it's top-down line of sight kind of game. So you haven't really got to worry about the actual height of the model, because if it says like height 2, if there's a height 3 building in the way, for example, you can't see the person. So it doesn't matter on their actual height, it's what the card says anyway. So me personally, I will do away with that because it just looks like a little green fountain. Not really my cup of tea. I have to say, Cassandra Nova isn't the most beautiful looking woman in the world. But then again, she's got some internal demons and stuff, so it kind of reflects that, I guess. So let's talk about the cards. So we'll start off with Jean Grey, a force for good. So Jean Grey, otherwise known as Jean Grey, has 6 health. So 6 health there. So that's the stamina, medium movement, height 2, because she's just a regular human kind of size. She does cost 5, so she better be good for 5, right? Physical defense is 3, energy 4, mystic is 5. Pretty good. Normally 3s across the board I would say is average, so she is above average, obviously. So her first ability is a psionic bolt, which is range 4, 5 dice, 0 energy to perform. After this attack is resolved, this character gains energy equal to the amount of damage dealt. Pretty standard, right? But if she gets a wild, she gets the sap power. So sap power is, before damage is dealt, the target character loses 1 energy for each wild in the attack roll. And this character gains that amount of energy. So you don't really want to hit somebody unless they've got some energy. But if you're hitting them, it's a range 4, so no one's probably going to be in range first turn unless you do something crazy. And even if there are, they've probably got 1 power on them anyway. So you can at least sap that power and feed Jean Grey up, which is great. I like it. So not only denying somebody, you're feeding yourself. It's great, right? So a range 3, 9 dice, which is nuts, and 6 energy to perform a telekinetic force. Before damage is dealt, if the target character is size 4 or less, which, let's face it, there's a lot of that out there, this character may throw the target away small. It's pretty nice. So it's a throw, so it's better than a push, so you can throw them into a piece of terrain or another model, something like that. And if you get wild, it's explosive. Before damage is dealt, other enemy characters within range 2 of the target character suffers 1 damage. So that's nice. I mean, it's 9 dice, so chances are it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. 9 dice. It is physical, sadly. I was hoping with kinetic it would be mystic, but I think that would just break her. She would be so good. But it's pretty nice. So you get to throw somebody, which can do extra damage. If you roll exceptionally well with 9 dice, you could probably kill somebody or daze them at least anyway. So that is very, very strong. But it does cost 6. But remember, she does gain energy by sapping power as well as the usual builder with the psychic bolt. So battlefield manipulation. So choose an interactive terrain feature of size 4 or less, which, you know, that's pretty tasty, within 3 and throw at medium. So medium is pretty good. You know, it's better than Doc Ock. I always find he kind of throws a little bit short. This superpower can only be used once per turn. So it does cost 3 energy, but I think it's totally worth it. Because if it is a size 4, for example, building, it's potentially 5 damage. Which is nice. It's real nice. Matter transmutation. Choose another character with an activated token within 2 and push it small. A character can be moved by the superpower only once per turn. So that also costs 3 energy. Now it doesn't say enemy. It says choose another character with an activated token. So if you wanted to get one of your friendlies out of the way, something bad was going to happen to them, or you wanted them to move further away with an objective, that's pretty cool. Or you just want one of the enemy models to move out of the way because why not, right? Yeah, brilliant. Like they're on an objective, it's nearly the end of the turn, push them away, brilliant. Shield Mind. So this is 2 energy. When this character or an allied character within range 4 would be advanced, place, pushed by the effects of an enemy mystic attack or enemy superpower. You may use this superpower. The allied character is not advanced, placed, or pushed. So, I mean, Deadpool doesn't get that anyway, because Deadpool just doesn't care about mind effects being pushed and placed and stuff like that. But generally speaking, I'll be going up against Marcus's Doctor Strange quite a bit. And yes, he does have decent mystic, and yes, he will be pushing me around. So that is quite useful. I mean, sometimes you don't really care about being pushed around. It is a what if, whatever. But sometimes it is quite helpful, especially if you're on an objective and things like that. So, now we come into her powers that she has all the time. So her passive abilities are latent psychic potential. During the power phase, this character gains an additional energy. So that power earlier on, that has 6 energy cost for the telekinetic force. You get 2 straight off the bat. They're at the beginning of the game. If you move up and did do, I don't know, a psychic bolt, gain a little bit. And then the following turn you do a psychic bolt again, you would probably have enough to do telekinetic force, which is really nice. And the last passive is flight. Flight is very useful. Doesn't slow her down at all if she's moving over buildings and things like that. I generally should pick a team that has some kind of flight and stuff in it, because I do like my Weapon X. I do like my X-Force list, but I do feel it's kind of lacking. You know, Sabretooth can't fly, for example. Wolverine certainly can't fly. So on the injured side, she has a little bit more health, because you notice she has 6 there. She now has 7 on her injured side. Yeah, she's pretty serious, right? And she has the same abilities other than that. So she still has the sap power. Everything on that is exactly the same, just 1 extra health. Which is still pretty nice. It's still pretty nice. So next we get into Cassandra Nova. So Cassandra Nova, aka is Cassandra Nova Xavier, because she is technically born as an Xavier. So 7 stamina, 7 health, medium movement, size 2, because in essence she is a normal human size, and 5 cost. So this whole box contains 10 cost. It's quite a powerful box. So 2 physical defense, which isn't great, 3 energy, which is standard, slightly more on the mystic. So for 5, I'm hoping she's got some tools to deal with getting hit a lot. So she also has a psychic bolt, which has sap power, so very much in the same way as Jean. Range 4, 5 dice, 0 energy. After damage is dealt, gains energy equal to the amount of damage dealt. And any wilds is sap power, so exactly the same as Jean. So before damage is dealt, the target character loses 1 energy for each wild in the attack roll. And this character gains that energy, which is pretty damn good. Then we have Mind Possession. So this is a range 3, 6 dice, 1 energy. So it's pretty low. After this attack is resolved, you may advance the target character its speed. So it doesn't say enemy. So if you really wanted to roll 6 dice at a friendly, you could advance them if you want to. But yeah, 6 dice. Okay, well, that's pretty powerful. After this attack resolved, you may advance the target character its speed. That's 1 energy. It's pretty good. Next we have Flesh Manipulation, which sounds creepy as. So it's a range 2, so pretty close combat. It is 8 dice though, which is powerful, very powerful, and only cost 4 energy. It's an explosive force, so if you get any wilds, then after this attack is resolved, other characters within range 2 of that character are pushed away from this character small and suffer 1 damage. So same as most explosives, when they go off, it deals the 1 damage within range 2, but this time it has the added bit of pushing models around. That's pretty cool. I like that. So we get into the powers. We have a biokinesis, which is a whole 3. So 3 energy. Choose an enemy character within range 3. It gains root and slow special conditions. So for those who don't know, root, the character must spend 1 energy before using any of their superpowers. So in essence, if you have a superpower of like 2, it would then cost 3, for example, unless you want to shrug it off, which I recommend you do. It's pretty nasty. Yeah, it's quite irritating. And slow, you can probably guess what slow does. It reduces someone's movement to small. So, or short. So yeah, I mean, if you've got someone who's incredibly fast, if you've got like Baron Zemos trying to get to an objective, that's pretty nice. And putting 2 conditions on someone at the same time, if they need to get rid of it, that means they're not doing nothing. So spending both their actions to get rid of both conditions. So, I mean, it's not going to do massive amounts of damage, this character, I don't think, initially. But keep putting conditions on people and things like that, and manipulating them and moving them around the table is a big deal. Definitely. Next we have Psychic Distraction. When an enemy character enters movement within range 2 of this character may use this superpower. Roll 4 dice. The enemy character suffers 1 damage for each crit and wild that they roll. Okay. If this superpower deals at least 1 damage, this character may advance small. Okay, so that's basically auto damage if you roll well. It doesn't cost a lot. There is a few things out there that can do auto damage if you hit with a crit and things like that. Brilliant. And the fact that this character may advance small. So it is quite irritating. Someone gets close to you and then you just mess up their plans and maybe do a little bit of damage. Unlikely going to kill them, but if it does 1 damage, then this character may advance small. Could be a pretty big deal. Especially if they've got decent speed. They just get within the range, and then you're going to use this reaction power, and then they are not in range anymore. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool, because then they have to do a second action to move closer to you again, and then by that time they may not have enough to actually smack you. Which is pretty cool. Changes people's plans anyway. Then we have Telekinetic Deflection. If this character would suffer a collision, it may use this superpower. This character does not suffer any damage from this collision, and it only costs 2. So generally, in my packs, I generally take Brace for Impact, which basically does the same thing. So it does save you from using a Team Tactics card, but notice it says when this character. So it can only be used on that character. So it is still maybe worth taking Brace for Impact, because only Cassandra Nova is going to be safe if she's got the energy to do it. It's still only 2 energy, which is pretty nice. So it will save you burning that card, and if someone else gets, let's say, Scarlet Witch throws a building at them, I use that term and that example because it's happened to me by Marcus a few times on the battle reports. Spoiler alert. But still, there you go. We also now have the start of her passive abilities. So we have Telepathic Cloak. Characters must be within 3 of this character to target it with attacks. So basically it's stealth, which is always nice. So that shuts down anything that's range 4, range 5, which there is some pretty mean stuff out there. This character also, passive ability is flight, which is always good, because I don't have a lot in Cabal that really has flight. I do use Doc Ock quite a bit, who has Wall Crawler, and that's nice. So, yeah, it's pretty good. And healing factor 1. So if you don't kill this model, at the end of this model's activation, then it gets 1 health back, which is always nice. Always nice. And that does unlock some potential with other cards out there with healing factor. And that's why I picked her up. So she started on the healthy side with 7, and the opposite of Jean Grey actually goes down to 6. But everything else looks the same. So it still has the healing factor, the Psychic Bolt, the Mind Possession, the Flesh Manipulation, all that good stuff. So, pretty nice character regarding can't be shot if it's range 4 or 5, so a nice bit of stealth there. A little bit of survivability with the healing factor, but I don't like the fact that physically not very strong. So someone's going to come up like Juggernaut and Biffa, yeah, not much good. But if someone does get within range and you do have the energy, you can just move out of the way effectively for the combat, which is pretty nice. So moving is her physical defense if you've got the energy. Yeah, it's pretty good because you can move models around as well, and it's going to be getting some power with the whole sap power ability and things like that. So be interesting to see on the table, even though I don't think the model is very pretty, but it's not Marvel Crisis Protocol's fault, Atomic Mass Games' fault, because she's not a good looking woman anyway. I just think the pose possibly could have been a bit more interesting, but hopefully I can change that by getting rid of that green fountainy geysery spirit thing. Could have had some more, maybe like on the card it has a nice like psychic misty thing around her head, maybe something like that could have made it a bit different, but it's quite hard to make, I guess, or to make it look like it's intended. It could just look like it's smoke coming out of her ears. But there we go. So that's Cassandra Nova. Interestingly enough, the kit only comes with X-Men tokens, so okay. But it does come with 2 cards. So we'll start off with Jean! It's unaffiliated, it's reactive. When an allied Jean Grey is dazed or KO'd, after the effect is resolved, an allied Cyclops or Wolverine may play this card. This character, play the card, may immediately perform an attack. So if Wolverine's engaged, and then he's just going to slash stuff up. If Cyclops wants to blast somebody, that's pretty cool. So it doesn't involve any energy, which is what I like, but it does involve Jean either getting dazed or KO'd, which you really don't want to happen, but it's a solid card. If you're playing X-Men with Scott and Jean, why not? Or if Wolverine's in there, he's your cup of tea. Why the hell not? Mental Domination. So it's range 2, it's 2 dice, 0 energy, according to the top bar anyway, but we'll get to the bottom part, which generally tells you what the energy is. It's unaffiliated, and it's an active card. So during their activation, Cassandra Nova or Jean Grey may spend 3 energy to play this card. See, told you, 3 energy. There you go. Choose an enemy character within range 3 of this character. Advance the chosen character small. Then the character that plays this card makes the above attack. So it's not a great attack, it's 2 dice. When measuring range and line of sight for this attack, measure from the chosen character, not the attacking character. Add dice to the attack roll equal to the physical defense of the chosen character. Okay, so it's getting better already. Getting better already. You may re-roll any number of opposing defense dice in that defense roll. That is better than I thought. So you are moving an enemy character within range 3, small. Then you are rolling 2 dice, according to this attack, plus whatever their physical defense dice is. And you may re-roll any number of opposing defense dice. So let's say, oh no, you're attacking someone with 5 physical defense. You're rolling 7 dice there. It's only costing you 3. You have moved them. You've got to be pretty close. But you do get to re-roll their defense dice. So you may re-roll any number of the defense dice. Is always stronger than all. Because if they roll average, you can go, I'm going to take that risk, and then they roll exceptionally well, you're like, I shouldn't have done that. But you get to pick. So only pick up their successes, obviously, and then tell them to re-roll that. That is good. That is good. So yeah, 3 energy, okay. Only works with Jean or Cassandra Nova. Yeah, okay, choose an enemy character within 3, and then you can move the chosen character small. But then you can only measuring range and line of sight for this attack from the chosen character, not the attacking character. Yeah. So they still got to be within range 2 for it to happen. So they're going to be pretty close. You can bring them in closer to you, I suppose, if you want that. But Cassandra Nova is not really going to want that. But the fact that you could do some serious damage. If someone's got a really, really high physical defense roll, and you can just manipulate their dice, manipulating other people's dice are always strong. So here we have Cassandra Nova. You can see much of the detail there. She's got a scarf wrapped around her neck. Not massive amounts of detail. There is probably more detail on the weird fountainy thing. And there is on most of the rest of the model. But she does look like she has got a big leathery jacket on. So maybe moving furniture. And some kind of pimp stick. But yeah, not massive amounts of detail. Some crinkles in her clothes and a belt buckle. But then again, it is true to the comic. I'm not saying this is a boring model, and it wasn't necessary. She's like that in the comic. So, yeah, fair enough. Let's see what she's like on the table with her rules. Jean's a bit more interesting because she's got that weird psychic, almost like an X. And her hair is flowing in a superhero pose as she's levitating. So a bit more cinematic, a bit cooler. And a little bit more detail. So, there we go. And it comes with the classic 4 bases, which always has some great detail on. But I've got so many of these guys now, I need to start making them a bit more interesting, I feel. I do like the fact, I probably said before, they got tiny little plastic cups or glass bottles to stick on the bases to make it look like more like city terrain. Jean Grey and Cassandra Nova. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Please hit that like button if you haven't done already. And please subscribe for some more great content. So we do have Marvel Crisis Protocol battle reports, as I previously mentioned, as well as other battle reports like Warhammer 40,000. We do have the occasional board game nights, things like that. And I really should get back into AOS. But we do have some Warcry videos way back in our archives as well. So go back and check those out. And in the last year or so, we've really got into Aeronautica as well. So if you've never played Aeronautica Imperialis, you're in for a treat. That's such a great game. Okay, take care everyone. See you in the next video.